Hello, everybody. It's Kanoa with Baja123.com, and I'm here this morning with my beautiful wife. Hi, honey.
Hi, honey.
We're going to do this video with Louie. Hi, Louie.
Good morning, everybody.
We're doing the border crossing video this morning, and I wanted all three of us to come in because we're going to actually talk about some safety tips after we do the border crossing. So let's get through the border crossing information, and let's see how many tens of thousands of people are crossing the border today for essential travel.
Let me share my screen, and would like to remind everybody that you can find the border crossing pages both in Baja123.com and Rosaritoliving.com. And today, these are the current border conditions. As you can see in the images right here, I'm gonna try to zoom in a little bit more.
And I'm making fun of the border crossing, you guys, because there are so many people crossing. And right now it is for essential travel only, but there seems to be a lot of essential travel going on in the last week.
Yeah, you know what? I've seen the border traffic increasing on a daily basis. I don't know, like I said in the last video, I don't know why. If people really need to go across, they're crossing. I haven't taken a look at the Otay myself, so I'm going to click on it right now and see what it looks like.
Yeah,
there's a lot of traffic.
Yeah, a lot of traffic, a lot of people crossing.
That's a live feed?
Yeah.
It is a live feed. It's a near real-time border crossing cameras that you guys can access. And it just, I still don't understand why there are so many people crossing. Even if it was essential, what essential business could there be for these many people to be going across? I'm not so sure.
Work is one of them. And
they have everything closed down, most of the businesses.
You know, and in both sides of the border, because it's not just, it doesn't just apply to California or San Diego. Here in Rosarito and even Tijuana, some of the non-essential business are getting shut down. I've seen patrols going around the stores and making sure that if they're non-essential, then they're going to close them down. So I'm not sure why the people are crossing. So hopefully, you know, we'll get somebody to make comments below and let us know if you guys are crossing for essential traveling.
Yeah, I would really love to hear what people's thoughts are, why there's so much traffic.
I mean, I know quite a few people, and they're doing it for work.
They're doing it for work?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. You gotta, you know, some people have to work.
Of course, no.
And you know what, if you guys are going across the border, make sure you follow the health guidelines. Keep your safe distance, cover your face with something. If it's not
wash your hands, don't touch your face.
Yep. Okay, so let's look at the border wait times. As of 10 o'clock this morning in San Ysidro, for passenger vehicles, we have a 70-minute delay with only 3 lanes open on the standard, 60-minute delay with 8 lanes open in ready lane, and 10-minute delay in Sentry with 4 lanes open.
That's almost like a normal crossing date, right?
It's like a normal crossing. That's what I, was doing in a Sentry lane before all of this.
You know, and that's kind of strange because we would hope that people would listen and stay home. But once again, I don't know why they're crossing, but they're crossing. For pedestrians, standard at the San Ysidro crossing, we have 15-minute delay on the standard, 6 lanes open. Railing lane has no delay, even though they only have 1 lane open. At the San Ysidro CBX, which is the cross-border express at the airport, as of 1 o'clock today, no delay, 1 lane open. And no delay, 3 lanes open on ready lane. San Ysidro Path West remains closed. For Otay, it's actually a little different. There's only a 30-minute delay, but there's 1 lane open on the standard, so it's understandable. 30-minute delay on ready lane with 4 lanes open, and no delay with Sentry, 1 lane open. So if you guys are going across, Otay probably poses a better option for you guys. For pedestrians under standard, 2 lanes open with no delay as of 11 o'clock this morning, and no delay, 2 lanes open on ready lane as of 11 o'clock this morning. So I guess this feed was refreshed at 11 o'clock.
Louis, one of the biggest questions we get from people that are coming from the U.S. right now is the border open? Can I cross? So we can show people right now, people are crossing. I'd be very curious to know if people are crossing that are not permanent residents or U.S. citizens, if they're still turning people back with just regular visas. So that would be an interesting thing. If anybody knows, please leave it in the comments and let us know.
Yeah, and that's something one of our aunts, she needed to go across because she needed, stuff for her restaurant that she usually shops in the U.S., and she was turned around. So she's not.
How long ago was this?
Maybe a week and a half ago, close to 2.
That was right when they started that, right?
Right.
So, and the border crossing was really small at that time. Now it's back to, it seems like almost back to normal. So I'm wondering if that is still, if they're still turning people around.
Right. I haven't asked her, so I'm gonna actually ask her, and I'll leave it in the comments below if I find out, whether or not she's been returned at the border, because she's not, like I said, she has a visa. She's not a legal resident or a U.S. citizen.
And for those people that maybe this is the first time listening to one of these videos, when we're talking about being turned around, anybody with a permanent resident or that is a citizen of the United States can cross into the U.S. The people with just tourist visas that are coming from Mexico to the U.S. Word get turned around. But anybody coming into Mexico, we haven't heard of any restrictions going from the U.S. into Mexico. So as far as it looks like, people are going back and forth from the U.S. to Mexico right now.
That is correct. Let me just give you the last update from Tecate. It looks like as of 8 o'clock this morning, there was a 20-minute delay in the standard lanes for passenger vehicles, and no delay with one lane open on the standard for pedestrians.
So Tecate looks like the border this morning. Sometimes it switches back and forth to different borders, and Tecate looks like the place to cross.
Right. If you guys want to learn more, there is a bordertraffic.com page that you can go to. They have more cameras that you can take a look at. There is a subscription, but it's definitely worth it for the people that are crossing back and forth on a daily basis. We'll leave the information below. Thank
you very much, Louis. You know what? We want to actually, I heard in the news today that Mexico could be going into phase 3 pretty soon. And so, and I'm not sure exactly what that means, but we know that we want to help people stay safe and take care and have some protective measures. And so my wife has done some research online for some best practices for people to do. And we wanted her to come and share that with us this morning. So for those of you that are looking to, once again, have a safe home and stay in good habits, I think that some of the things that you're going to share is really important.
What caught my attention now that we are inevitably, in it, I saw that there's some studies that are saying that of the population, some say March 26th, a study came out that said 80%, actually it said 81% of the population was going to get it. And then in Mexico, they're saying 70% of the population. So whether it's 80, 70, 50, 60, it seems like a ton of people, a ton of us are going to get it. So I went into saying, okay, no, so what if we now have it in our home? And what are we going to do? How do we take care? Now we have the symptoms, whether they're mild or not mild. So I came up with a list of just saying, okay, what should we have ready?
Because it's good to be prepared. So, I mean, one of the things is, I think we've talked about is, you don't want to prepare when all of a sudden you're sick and you're not thinking well. And so it's good to get this stuff ready before. Hopefully you don't need it. Hopefully it doesn't become a crisis in your home. But just in case, have some of these measures in place. And that way, if it does become something where you need to have it, you've already got it ready. Yeah,
one of the things, and we were just talking, you and I, Louis, or us and Louis, about how we have to have a designated room, because if one of us gets it, you have to have an isolated room that has a door. So
and we agreed that I get the master bedroom, right? No.
What we agreed upon is that is where, if I get sick, that's where my quarters.
Okay, we're still in
negotiation. And then we'll negotiate the rest.
Yeah. Okay. So I actually had the conversation with my wife, and we said the same thing. The master bedroom has an ensuite bathroom, and access to the patio and access to the house. So 2 doors. And so my wife and I talked, and she was going to get the master bedroom. I get the living room and the couch. But the patio has a sliding door that's glass. And so we agreed that if one of us gets sick and have to use the room, we would communicate through the glass door. So that way, none of us get infected. But it's funny, but it's actually true. It's a real conversation.
How did you guys come up with the decision on who gets the master?
Okay, that's not. Okay, that's not how.
We'll talk about that.
In reality, what you have to do at home is the quarters that are the most isolated, that has a bathroom or a closed bathroom. Hopefully, if you have that possibility of having a bathroom for the person that gets sick. So it's whatever your home allows you to do is what it should be. Because the last thing you would want is the person that has the virus to be in the living room, where then you have no control over it. So for example, in our case, whoever, if any, gets the virus would have to take the master with the bathroom, because that's how you close the door and isolate from the rest of the home. But it's not only that. You also have to have ready, for example, some of the things that that I came up with my list, at least, is a box of cleaning supplies that are going to be inside that area of that bathroom, because you have to clean every single day. You have to clean the bathroom, and you have to keep the area super clean in order to keep the viral load down and help your patient in a way, or your loved one, to get through it the best way possible. But there's more things like than just that. I'm just going to read off some of the things that I came up with.
And these are just a list, once again, for people to be prepared. We'll put the list in the description too, so that way, if you guys want to copy it, and this is just our suggestions that we found.
It's our list.
You guys might have a better list. If you do, please put it in the comments.
That would be
or if
great.
we missed anything or any suggestions, we're just once again trying to help people be prepared.
Yeah. So it would be to have tissue paper, a trash can, specifically for that. Like I mentioned, the box with the cleaning supplies. Very important to have the list of the prescribed medication of the person that is sick,
Right.
because it may come a point where they're not very clear in their mind to know when they're supposed to take it, or what it is that they are taking.
And God forbid you have to call 911.
Yeah.
You already have that list ready. I've been through this, and when they come and they're going, what medication is a person on? It's just like, you don't know. It's not like the names of the medications are so hard to say and think, and it's just the worst thing to try to figure that out. But it is important that you're able to provide that to a medical care person. So have that list
If
ready.
you have it in writing, like you said, if you already have it in writing, then it's easy just to hand out that paper to the first responder. So whenever they show up, emergency people show up, you can just hand them the sheet, and they'll be able to understand. Some of the names are complicated to pronounce, but they are definitely relatable, so people can understand, what medications they're taking.
And it's easily looked up, I'm sure, by them on their cell phones and translated really quickly so that they can figure out what it is. Maybe the translations in Spanish too.
Yeah. Other things that you should keep in mind is like you're supposed to take a lot of liquids. So have prepared if you're by yourself, you need to prepare. If you have even if you're not by yourself, you still want to have things like, for example, Pedialyte. What do you call that? Pedialyte?
I'm not sure, but it's the electrolyte.
Electrolytes,
right?
yeah. Or even broth, bone broth. That's another huge one that they were recommending.
What about Coca-Cola?
Hey, as long as it's a liquid.
I'm just saying, is that what
It's on my list
what is
for
in your
sure.
list?
My list.
How about
yes.
water? She's not a water drinker.
Water.
I'm a big water
Water tastes like chemical.
I love water. Just give me water. We'll stack you up with the Coca-Cola liquid.
It's not true. I do not drink Coca-Cola, but I do not drink water either.
No,
like water. It tastes awful. But anyway, so other than that, you need to have some form of entertainment. So whether you have already a television in the room, or magazines, books, whatever it is that you're going to be entertained while you're in there, because you will be in there for 14 days. You got to be in there for 14 days as this has been established. The one thing that they're saying that you should not have is any sort of electronic
equipment.
Which is harder.
But
I'm taking my phone.
Personal electronic equipment, I think, is what they're talking about, like a phone or a laptop or something where
there's keyboards where there's a keyboard, because they're saying that all the virus will get in it between the letters, I guess.
The keys, right.
Yeah.
Bury me now, because you're not getting my cell phone out of my hands. All right, so just bury me, because you're not going to take that away from me.
But I think what they mean is, if you have a shared computer, don't obviously allow the person that has the virus to use that electronic if other people are going to use it, to avoid the spreading of the virus. So I think that's mainly what your point is, I believe.
Well, what they're saying actually is that if you have something that you're putting your hands on nonstop,
you're going to get it contaminated.
You're going to keep you're going to keep it contaminated. You're going to have it there, then you're going to grab it, you're going to put it on your shoulder, you're going to put it on your bed, and so it's just. And versus a television, which you just turn and click, you don't touch it as much. So that was their point. But there are some things that you're going to do no matter what, like phone.
And probably computer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it depends how sick you are. You might not even care. If you're really sick, you're probably, it doesn't not going to matter.
Yeah. So those are just some things. Paracetamol, I want to say this, even though the World Health Association even mentioned it. So do not take it unless somebody on the other side of the phone who you spoke to, tells you to take it. It is an over-the-counter pill. It's for fever.
And we can trust the World Health Organization because they're so reliable right now. Okay, I'm not going to get political, but
yeah,
go ahead.
but what everybody is saying, though, is that apparently, I'm unaware, but apparently there has been a lot of dispute whether you're taking paracetamol or ibuprofen.
Ibuprofen.
Yes, and everybody has been turning down they're going, do not go the ibu. How do you say that?
Ibuprofen. So people online some people are saying they're having really bad reactions with the ibuprofen, but it hasn't been scientifically proven yet that that's the problem. But if you don't have to take that risk, why wait?
If you have a choice,
yes.
Yeah, also, yeah. But for fever, you want to have something at hand, and apparently so far, even the World Health Association is saying go this route. So that's why it's on my list.
Let me ask you, if you do have to take care of somebody at home, what would you recommend for those people that are taking care of the people or the sick people to have around?
Their protective gear, yeah. So here's the number one thing that I've, it's not just a mask, it's a tightly fitted mask. And it doesn't mean you have to go and get, the N95. No. It can be anything you can make out of mask off of even. But it's got to be very tightly fitted. That's what they're saying. So that if you are taking care of a sick person that you're in contact with. And of course you want eyewear if you have access to it, which are just goggles. Yeah. Even we have at hand our snorkeling.
Yeah. I think it's a great full-on and scuba gear if you have it.
But that would work. And of course, you want your gloves. You want to have gloves whenever you are attending to that loved one. And also, they were recommending in many of the sites and some form of either apron or gown. Gown. Thank you. So that means that when you walk in, you put something so that, and the only reason you have that, they were saying, was you put it on it's going to be inside the room. You put it on, it never leaves that room. You put it on once you're inside the room, and it's only a protective layer. Doesn't mean that you should not remove your clothes or whatever it is. If you have the ability to keep removing your clothes when you exit that room, that's always going to be the best practice. Put them in and having plastic bags ready to either put your clothes or when you're taking their clothes, as well, so that you don't just because the virus, they're saying don't be shaking things.
Right.
So if the most contained you can keep them, the best.
You guys, this is like insane to me. This whole process, everything that we have to do, there's nothing that's going to be 100% protective or secure. And these are just guidelines to help protect you. If you are taking care of somebody, it's not going to be guaranteed. There's so much controversy right now online of what is protective or what isn't protective. And until I guess we know for sure what's working, it's better to be safe than sorry. Even if some of these things aren't exactly perfect, it could help you from transmitting it to other people in your house. It might not, who knows? But right now it's just, it's all we have right now. It's the best we have.
The other thing also that some of them were mentioning was to have in a box ready as well, separated their the things that they eat with, like their silverware, their cup, their glass, their plates, so that they're the only ones utilizing those and do not mix them with the rest of the houses.
And I can tell you guys, it gets a little bit crazy trying to not touch everything, trying to think of anything that could be contaminated. It almost will make your mind just go nuts trying to think of, okay, what about this? What about that? It's just, there's no way we're going to be able to protect 100%.
Yeah.
But just having some best practices. I'm going to put a video to a doctor. I'll put a link to a video from a doctor from New York that was actually working in the hospital, that after we watched this video, it really helped, ease some of our fear
Yes.
about how he was handling this and how he was how the people in his hospital were dealing with this and not contracting it by some safe practices. So we want to share this video with you. We'll put the link. We hope you watch it. It's a little bit long, but it really made sense as of now, and it will help you maybe not live in so much fear, because the last thing we want is people to just be crazy. I know it's made me a little crazy. I mean, it's made me a lot crazy.
There's a lot of things on this list that I'm not communicating right now, because you get then to the, to the other side where now you just start feeling the panic of it. And that's not the point at all. But that video that you're talking about was phenomenal. It did, for me at least, it absolutely empowered me, and it allowed me to understand that it's a virus.
Have you watched it, Louis?
It's just
I have not had the opportunity to watch it, so I want to watch it tonight.
I've only sent it to you 3 times, so hopefully after the 5th time you'll watch it.
It is so good. It is really, everybody's going to take what serves them, but I thought it definitely put things in perspective. But things that I did not include in this video that, maybe we'll put a link to it. It's like, how do you take off your gloves? And then in which order do you take like your protective gear off? And I'll put those, I have those links. I'll put them so you can add them.
I've got probably a threshold of doing this for about another 30 days, and then I'm going to be like.
But I didn't want to go, way too out, because then you get a little bit of paranoia, and that's not the point.
Wow. So, all right, you guys, please stay safe. Right now, like I think we said, Mexico's definitely going to be going into phase 3, whatever that means. Hopefully we'll be able to put out some information what that means. But I think what it can mean is take extra precautions right now. And if you can, stay safe, stay healthy, stay positive, and let's all get through this.
And stay home. Stay
home. Thank you, everybody.
Guys, enjoy this video. Give us a like. Share it on social media. Leave your comments below. And we'll leave all this information down in the description box. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.